welcome everyone to day 2 of our 7th Annual Paralysis Meetup. We are live again, and we're actually playing with leaving the videos on. You know, we got a lot of feedback that people want to see all your beautiful faces, and so that's what we're going to try to do. You know, we may have to turn them off if we get some sort of lag, and hopefully somebody will flag me down, because I tend to run my mouth and not know. And yeah, and so, you know, yesterday was a fantastic event for us. It was really a good turnout. We got a lot of good feedback from all of you guys, and so we're really excited to have day 2 upon us. One thing I'm really excited about is we only have to make it 3 more hours without Claire going into labor, and we will have made it through this event, which is exciting, which I think we need a little bump update to give everybody a little.
You might not be able to
Black
see
is
it.
a little too slimming.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
There she is.
Yep, little baby Isla Marie will be with us anytime after 3 p.m. now. That's the plan, at least. So yeah, we are. Yeah, we're just super excited. We've got another great lineup to have with you guys for the second day of the meetup. Just, you know, for those of you who may not have been with us yesterday, we had a great keynote speaker in Josh Basil talking about employment after injury, and yeah, a bunch of good partner spotlights from Kersey Mobility and National Seating Mobility and Cure Medical, as well as pretty meaningful breakout. And we're going to be doing similar stuff today. We've got 2 presentations on disaster preparedness and another one highlighting some home modifications of our members. And we're going to check in with a few more partners, and we got some giveaways, and we're going to be doing a breakout for male and female wheelchair users, as well as families. Families will be lumped in together so you guys can all chat. And yeah, so, you know, without further ado, we're going to just jump right into our first kind of partner highlight, which I think we've got Ellie Vanker available on from Northwest Access Fund. If you want to, are you with us, Ellie?
Yeah, great to see everyone and to be with you all. I'm here from Northwest Access Fund, and we have the mission to offer people with disabilities customized loans, financial coaching, and other resources to promote access to assistive technology, independence, financial resilience, and life opportunities. We recently changed our mission, otherwise I'd have it a bit more off my tongue. So we basically have 2 main programs. The first is a financial capability program, and through that we offer free individual financial coaching as well as free group workshops. And so for the individual coaching, we're really guided by whatever the client wants to talk about. You sort of direct how you'd like sessions to go and what you'd like to work on. And we can help with things from kind of budgeting and banking, from managing debt, and especially medical debt. So we can help with applying for charity care applications. And then we can also help with kind of savings, offering savings tips and how to save without risking access to different like caregiving, medical or cash benefits. So that could be either with ABLE accounts, or if you don't qualify for an ABLE account, for different options that you might have. As of this year, we also have a certified benefits planner on staff, and so we can help with figuring out benefits, work incentives, and building a customized plan that meets your needs. And so that's free, and we know that there can be a bottleneck in other systems for benefits planning, so we're always here if needed. And then the second main program we have is an assistive technology loan program, which is loans for any kind of assistive technology, so from computers, tablets and phones to recreational equipment, adaptive vehicles and home modifications. And so for that, loans have a 5% interest rate, and there's no fees. So there's no fees to apply or for early payoff. And there's also no limits on what assistive technology you can buy. So it's really we're very much committed to consumer choice, and we recognize that you know what's best for you. So whatever you choose, we can do that. There is, of course, an application, and the loans are for up to $40,000 for vehicles and for home modifications, and that can be with up to a 10-year term. And then for other kinds of assistive technology, it's mostly up to a 5-year term. But we're very committed to trying to make things work for you and have it so it suits you. I suppose just the other aspect to say about that is there's no income or asset limits, and there's also no limits on the type of income you can have. And so I think that was a very quick rundown, but we're available at nwaccessfund.org or by phone, and we serve all of Washington and all of Oregon, and so our door's always open. And I just see that we have one of our board members, Steve Lewis, is also on the call, so I'm sure he'd also be happy to share anything about the Access Fund.
Nice. Well, I've got a question for you, Ellie, that you may be able to answer. With the ABLE accounts, I know are the limitations still injured 26 and under, or have they adjusted those? I know there's been talk of adjusting the qualification age to a little bit higher. Do you know what the status is there?
I believe it's still, unfortunately, 26 and under. Okay. We have an IDA account, which used to be a match savings grant. Unfortunately, we've had to let go of the match savings grant, but we do have an IDA account that can be used. It's I think it's called a custodial account, and so it doesn't count against benefits. Okay. So people have the option of opening up that with us, and we have confirmation from Social Security that doesn't affect any access to benefits, any funds that are stored in there.
Okay. Yeah, and so that is almost kind of almost mirrors the ABLE account kind of aspect to an extent then?
Mm-hmm. Yes, to an extent, yeah. Okay,
very cool. Yeah, well, I just really appreciate you coming on and sharing this information with us, because access to technology and financial services is definitely a big need for our community. And we're gonna keep your information. We're gonna put it on our website and stuff so people can contact you. And are you able to stay on if anybody has any questions they might throw in the chat?
For sure, yeah, I will. And I should say that we recognize that finances aren't always the most exciting topic, but we're here to answer questions. And then also with financial coaching, we can help figure out any grant programs or different other programs that might cover the assistive technology in addition or alongside or instead of our loan as well.
Yeah, that is a vital service for this community. Yeah. I really appreciate what you guys do. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, now we get to, we're going to jump into one of our trivia questions, but looks like the originally scheduled person to do the trivia question is not available. So I'm going to call out our board member, Addie, and have her read the next trivia question real quick to get people a little gift card. Addie, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Awesome.
All right, so this question is for a $10 Subway card. And, okay, here we go. According to cdc.gov, what percentage of people with a disability have a mobility disability? Again, according to cdc.gov, what percentage of people with a disability have a mobility disability? Oh, I should get my.
Oh yeah, we need our.
I wasn't expecting that. Sorry.
Yeah, and write it in the chat, you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, type it in the chat, and the first person to get it will be the winner.
Ooh, 70-80%. No.
Keep going.
5%. Ooh.
Ooh, somebody got it.
William Wilbur. Again. There you go. He got it with 13.7.
Perfect.
Good job.
You got 2 this time, huh? Nice job, William.
That's great.
Yeah, looks like Lisa did have a question on the able accounts, that yes, those able accounts, and you can, Ellie can answer that through the chat as well, that the able accounts are only available if you were injured or diagnosed under the age of 26, which I think you would qualify, Lisa. I'm not sure, just because you were injured younger, but I don't know if that works, you know, whatever age you are when you apply for the account. So maybe Ellie can answer that in the chat. So, yeah. Well, with that, thank you, Addie, for jumping in impromptu. And I'm going to hand it off to Elaine, who's going to read a little brief bio introduction to our next presenter. So take it away, Elaine.
Okay. Maria Sutter is our speaker today, and she's a peer support specialist. I got to put my glasses on. With linking employment abilities and potential, also called LEAP, in Cleveland, Ohio. It provides information, education, training, employment, and independent living services to people with disabilities so they can live in their homes, participate in community life, and find stable employment. She has over 15 years experience navigating the world as a person with quadriplegia as a result of a spinal cord injury. She has a Bachelor of Architecture from the University of Cincinnati and a Master of Arts specializing in disability studies from John Carroll University. So she came on a very last minute thing here to talk about disaster preparedness, and I really, really appreciate that she's here. And she's wearing purple. What else could you want in the world? Jeez, I'm a purple fanatic. Maria, you're my new best friend. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, Elaine, I'm glad that you reached out when you did. You know, better late than never. I don't mind. And it's been a real joy to just participate yesterday. So I'm going to try to condense down my 3 1.5-hour sessions on disaster preparedness into a half an hour. So if I get to the end and there are questions and you want me to stop, somebody just interrupt and say, wrap it up. And then, you know, I will coordinate a way that I can provide this information for everybody who's joining so they can access it afterwards. I am going to attempt to share my screen. There's a button that says share screen. We'll see if it works. Here we go. Okay, so as Elaine mentioned, my name is Maria Sutter. I'm a peer support specialist at an independent living center in Cleveland called LEAP. And we put together this emergency and disaster preparedness webinar actually pre-COVID. We got a grant to bring this kind of stuff to people in the Ohio area. And we had set up all kinds of in-person stuff. And COVID hit, we had done 2 presentations, and we sort of had to audible and came up with a webinar, and we've been kind of broadcasting it and trying to get it out there ever since. So the way we normally do it is in 3 sessions and break it down a little bit of information at a time. I kind of went through and distilled it to what hopefully will run about a half an hour. And it'll get you really the highlights and the basics, and then I can let you guys know when we're going to be running the series again, and that way you can get the full experience. So I'm calling this the Disaster Planning Quick Guide, and what we're going to try to do is first talk about how to increase awareness. So real quick, becoming familiar with different types of disasters, and then really talking about disaster prep. So the idea of building a personal support network, creating a financial first aid kit, among other things. And then we'll talk about how you assess your needs and capabilities. And then finally, creating an individual disaster plan, and probably one of the most necessary things, your multiple emergency kits. So first, like I said, we're going to learn how to understand disasters by increasing awareness. So the first thing we want to look at are types of disasters. And it kind of breaks down into 3 different types. You have natural, technological, and man-made. The natural disasters are what we're most familiar with because it's what we deal with kind of most repeatedly. So it's going to be any of your weather or health-related disasters. And then technological disasters are more like power outages, chemical spills, that kind of stuff. And man-made disasters fall into things that are unfortunately becoming more recurrent, like riots, terror threats, those kind of things. And then when you're looking at a natural disaster, the thing, especially more specifically for weather disasters, is the idea of the watch and the warning. Because you're going to get a lot of your communication through broadcast news of some sort, we're all used to those weather watch and weather warnings coming flash through. And in general, you just want to remember that the watch means you need to be prepared. So you need to be thinking about what you're going to be doing. And then when you see the warning, that's when you want to take action. For those of us with more needs and needing more prep time, when you see a watch, you want to take it maybe a little bit more seriously than your neighbor and get yourself moving either to your safe spot or letting people know what you're going to be doing to protect yourself during this disaster. So what I really want to spend time on is the pre-planning strategies. These are the things that you can do today, yesterday, and tomorrow to really be ready for when things happen. So the first thing I recommend is that you research your resources. And there's several levels of this. And so you first want to know kind of your national resources. And in most parts of the country, you can access by phone or now by app, United Way's 211. And it's a great service even when there isn't a disaster because you can call 211 and they can help you locate any kind of agencies in your area. So if you've just moved to a place and you don't know where to get home care agencies, they can help you with that. If you need, Meals on Wheels, they can help you with that. If you're trying to connect with like local representatives, they can help you there too. But during an emergency, 211 is a way for you to let your emergency response departments know that, where you're located exactly and what your needs are. So I could call them and say, I'm here in the Medina, Ohio area, and I am in a wheelchair and there's a giant tree down and it's blocking my wheelchair van. I'm going to need help getting out. Or our power's out and I use a wheelchair that needs plugged in. I need to be moved to the top of the list when you restore power. So it's a great number to have no matter what. The other things you should try to locate are FEMA, which is the Federal Emergency Management Association or Administration, and the Red Cross. They operate all over the country. From a national level on FEMA's website, they have just tons of information about how to prepare for disaster. And then the Red Cross also has a lot of national information, but they're also going to break down to state information and local information. And they're going to help with anything from a shelter you might need to go to when you're trying to return back to your home after a disaster. If you find out that there's been damage, they're going to be able to help you get either temporary housing or relocation or start getting you financial resources in place to help you rebuild. From a state level, you're always going to want to look for your state Office of Emergency Management. And I was briefly on Oregon's Office of Emergency Management website. They have a lot of information, especially they have a whole section about, if you need financial help during disasters, which you guys are being hit, kind of doubly hard because you've been dealing with COVID and now all these wildfires. And it also talks about a lot of financial avenues to pursue if you've had damage, if you need help getting things rebuilt. So I think it's something for you to go ahead and, log in and bookmark, and they have a lot of information. Then on a local level, you really want to get to your county Office of Emergency Management and your health department. A lot of times your county or city Office of Emergency Management will have ways that you can register in your county so they know who you are, what your needs are, where you live. And then what I really recommend is contacting your local fire department. You can do this today. I did it when I first moved back with my parents, let them know my address, what my needs are. And so they know me whenever I call and need who knows what. But they, they'll know if I call during an emergency and say, hey, I can't get out of my house, I need help. And they'll know me and know what I need. It's also good to know what preferred hospital you would want to go to and a preferred urgent care so that you can tell people who might be helping you in a disaster, and so you don't just end up anywhere. Another really good resource is your emergency vet. If you have a service animal or just for your pets, having their information all, in one place. And I always recommend for all your local resources that you try to find local numbers, not 800 numbers, because those kind of numbers, when there's an emergency, they're going to go to some call system and you're never going to get through. The next thing you need to do is decide where you're going to go. So you always want to think about, like, if you have to leave your home, where is somewhere close by you can go, maybe for a couple hours, maybe for a couple days. And if you have to really get out, where can you go? And maybe you have more than one place, one that's, within 40 minutes and one that's several hours where you can go. And for myself as a wheelchair user, knowing that I might have to get transportation that's going to take me out of my house but not take my wheelchair, at one of my safe places is my sister's, and I keep a backup chair. So any kind of backup supplies you can keep at your safe places is always a good idea also. And then you want to know something about the shelters. So getting in touch with the Red Cross or the Salvation Army ahead of time, they can help you identify what shelters are going to be accessible, because not all of them are going to be. Especially when they throw up temporary shelters, they could be in a school that has all stairs at all the entrances. So you want to be able to get to an accessible shelter if the need arises. So you also need to determine how to get there. And transportation, as we all know, can be difficult even under the best of circumstances. So it's good to take some time and think about the way you do things today and what other options you might have in an emergency. So if you're a public transportation user, you should know how to contact your local public transport, again with a local number, so that in an emergency you can call and find out how they're operating or if they're operating. If you rely on a personal vehicle, you should make sure always that your personal vehicle is, in the best working order. And when we talk about the kits, that you have your car kit either ready to go into your vehicle or already in your vehicle. Also, you should know something about what private pay options are available. Some rideshare companies are starting to have accessible vehicles in their fleet. You can also, a lot of areas have taxis that are accessible. Here in Ohio, we have something called Provide a Ride, which you want to get set up with before because you have to have an account. But you can call them and get rides. And sometimes private ambulance companies during emergencies will open up to just doing, individual calls. So it's good to know if there are some of those ambulance companies in your area and some of their numbers, and if this is a service they would provide. And then you want to think about emergency vehicles. So this is usually going to be your local fire department and an ambulance. But again, if you've talked with them, they know where you're at, they'll know your needs. And then I always like to add, you have to also kind of think outside the box. So if you know somebody whose vehicle you can transfer into with a slide board, maybe they have a trailer they can haul your wheelchair, or you can have your mobility equipment at the location you're going to, whatever you can possibly think about to get yourself out if you need to. Next, you want to be able to prepare your home. So you want to make sure you have working smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. You want to make sure your home is decluttered. So if your power goes out and you're in the dark and your phone battery dies and you don't have any light, you're not going to run into something, knock something in your path. Or if you're just trying to ambulate through your home, you want to know that you can do it safely and as quickly as possible. And then you want to know where all your utility shutoffs are. In my instance, I know where they are, and I know like what tools someone might need and where those are located, and the basic steps that people would need to go through to shut them off, so I can tell someone so that they can help me out with that. You also want to understand who will be able to help you. So like I said, you want to gather contact information of your local emergency response organizations, and always try to get local numbers. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can find an actual person who might work for them that you can have a direct contact. And then you want to create what's called a personal support network. And the personal support network is a group of people who are going to be able to help you get your research and all your documenting done for this pre-planning, and update your pre-planning as time goes on. They're going to be able to help you get your emergency information together, your medical information together, gather up your emergency kits, and work with you for getting other disaster plan items together. It's good to have at least a minimum of 3 people that you know and trust. And if you are someone who works outside your home, obviously maybe not right now, but normally if you're in an office, you want to create a disaster plan and a personal support network that includes people both for home disasters and work disasters. So, these are people who are going to have access to financial information. They might have keys or a code to your home. So you want to make sure they're people you trust. Typically, it's going to be family or friends, possibly neighbors or coworkers, and in some cases, like your service providers, your home health aides, your nurses, those kind of people. So you want to actually, again, physically write things down. We are very reliant on technology, and it's great to have it in our, phones and laptops and tablets. But when the power goes out and your backup batteries all die, you need a piece of paper. I don't know people's numbers. I will never remember all these people's numbers anymore. It's not what we do anymore. So writing it down is a good idea. So you want to consider like who you're going to contact first, second, and third. Those people are probably going to go on the top of your list. You want to think about how you're going to contact them and have that written down. You also want to think about, if you're stranded, how often will these people check in on you? How often will they hope that you're checking in with them? Again, you're going to give people access to your home, so they might need keys or a code. And you want to think, if you have to evacuate, where are you going to go? And these people, whomever you're going to go stay with, or whoever's going to help you get there, they should be part of your network. And you also want to think about people who are going to advocate for you. There are situations where maybe we're not going to be able to be our best advocate, and we're going to need people to help us with that. Those people should be included on your network. And then, like I said, if you want people to have access to your important documents, which most likely you will, you want those people included. And not everybody in your personal support network has to be able to do all these things. That's why if you see here, in my network, I have a lot of different people, and they don't all fill the same role, but they are all necessary. And the last thing you want to make sure you do is have your financial documents together. FEMA has this really good, super in-depth emergency financial first aid kit, or EFAC, that they walk you through, and they let you fill out everything, and you can put a lot of it into a database and store it. But I also recommend, like I said, making a photocopy of these things, putting it in a waterproof Ziploc bag, and then putting it with your disaster kit. You're going to include, identification, your social security cards, copies of your passport, insurance cards, prescription cards, any insurance policies, your mortgage, your rent agreement. And then if you have a living will, if you have any other kinds of wills and trusts, you should have some sort of information about those, even if it's just account numbers and telephone numbers written down. If you have designated someone your power of attorney for healthcare or for finances, that should be documented. That way, if you can't advocate for yourself, anyone trying to help you will know who to talk to. And if you have a DNR, make sure you have copies of that. You want to make sure you have information about your bank accounts and the investment accounts, and then copies of credit cards. At least 1 or 2 copies of cards. You can also just have a spare credit card in with all of this information. It's good to have all this together anyway, but if you have it then in one of your already designated kits, and you can just grab it and take it with you, then you'll have everything you need. So now that you've done all this pre-planning, you need to assess really your basic needs. So you need to think about what you're able to do for yourself today, and then when disaster strikes, what additional assistance you might need. And then you're going to create a list of all this stuff. So for example, this is a sheet out of a personal assessment that we've created here at LEAP. And this is like your daily living sheet. And it's broken down into personal care, adaptive feeding, and personal care equipment. And then you see it's got 2 columns. And you just want to put as much information in here as possible, because it's really going to help you identify what kinds of things you're going to need assistance with from your personal support network, what you're going to need to include in your personal disaster kit. So briefly, for example, for dressing, I need maximum assistance both in bed and in my chair today. During a disaster, I'd need the same, but if I wasn't at home, I'd need some sort of lift system to be able to get in and out of whatever temporary bed I'm using, and hopefully I'd have my chair. And I'd also need people to help me with that. So the personal assessment goes through daily living. It goes through evacuating. It looks at your home, looks how you do pretty much everything from a day-to-day perspective, and then how you would do it in the event of a disaster. So now that you've done this big pre-planning and you've assessed your capabilities, it's time to put your whole disaster plan together. So I'm going to be able to tell you here what it includes and then the types of kits you'll need. So luckily, we've already done half of it. In your pre-planning, you've already gathered your important documents, you've done your assessment, you've created your communication plan with your personal support network. And again, like I said, I would print all of it out and have the documents together. Knowing it in your head is great. Having it somewhere where someone else can access it, even better. And then you need to finish the planning by coming up with your evacuation plan, instructions for rescue personnel, your medical information lists, and your supply kits. So what you see here is just a drawing of the condo I live in. And what I've indicated is each room. So you want to physically draw it out, label the rooms, and then I went through and actually drew in exactly how I'd get out. Seems silly, but you don't have to think about it if you've already thought about it. And if someone else is with you and you can't communicate, they can find this and they'll know how to get you out. And then I've also indicated, in the case of a fire, you see at the top in the back, there's an F. That's where I would go if there was a fire. If there was a tornado or an earthquake, you see the T and the E. That's where I would go into the master bathroom or the hallway to stay protected. You also want to consider outside meeting places where you and your family would meet up if you go out one door and they go out another, safe places further away from your home, and then the supplies that you would potentially need at your safe place. The next thing I suggest is actually writing out instructions for rescue personnel. Mine read like this. My name is Maria. I have a spinal cord injury and a T-tube. I use a power wheelchair, and then I tell them how to drive it. You can drive it using the joystick, etc., etc. Flip it on, blah, blah, blah. I have a service dog named Bronson. Please bring my medications, supply bag, and chair charger from my room, and Bronson's food and medications from the kitchen. With that little card, they know if I'm incapacitated in any way, how to get me out of my house and somewhere safe. The other thing you can have are things called a vial of life. And if you Google vial of life, you will find them all over. And they are going to contain instructions for rescue personnel, as well as your medical information, your medical history, all your information about meds. And typically you can print out an image similar to the red one you see here, and people will hang that on the front of their refrigerator. So emergency personnel know that's where to go to, very nice, Elaine, very nice, to find your vial of life. And people stick them in their freezer, in their fridge. And so if that sticker's on the front of your freezer or fridge, the rescue personnel know to look in there for your information. Some people hang it by their door and they put the sticker by their front door. Medical information list. Again, you can find vials of life that contain this information. Thank you, Elaine. And you can put it there, or you can find a med list online. This just basically runs through everything that we would need people to know. Your allergies, your equipment, your medical history, your diagnoses, physicians and hospitals. And then you usually want this to be accompanied by a medication list. And when you're thinking about medication, you want to make sure you have a list, but you also have meds together, which is part of your kit. And for medications, it's always recommended to have 7 days of meds set aside. You can try setting aside a pill a month. You can talk to your doctor and pharmacy about samples. You can, you know, call the drug companies and see if you can get samples. I get 90-day supplies of stuff, so a lot of times I have a lot of meds on hand. Make sure that everything is kept in a handy location. Try to get extra refills if possible, at least if it's on file with your pharmacy. Make sure you know how to store your medications and you know how long they're good for. So you have these extra medications set aside. If they're good for a year, make sure every year you change them out. And always have a plan with your doctor and your pharmacy for how you'll get meds in an emergency. So last, we'll hit these supply kits. And the basic supply kit and the car kit are very similar. So you can have a portable basic supply kit that you take to your car, or you can have a duplicate, one in the house, one in your car. You want first aids, flashlights, basic toolkits, duct tape, a battery-powered radio, all kinds of batteries, chargers. Then you need some toiletries, antibacterial items. It's recommended to have non-perishable food and water 7 days in your home. It used to just be 3 days, but now, especially with the rate it takes to get to people, you should try to have more. You want to make sure you have, you know, rain gear and snow gear and blankets in your cars and easily accessible in your home. And then in your home, make sure you also have water-resistant plastic bags, candles, matches. Always have some cash somewhere and the keys to your house. A lot of us don't carry cash. We don't deal with keys anymore. But when there is no power and you have to get somewhere, you may have to rely on those kind of more rudimentary things. And then again, we talked about the utility shutoffs and whistles, flags, or flares in your home and in your car if you need to get, you know, people's attention. And then finally, you need a personal supply kit and a kit for your pet or your service animal. Most of the personal supply kit we've gone over, all the documentation is kept in a waterproof bag, so your emergency and medical information, your med list, prescriptions, all your documents. And then in your personal supply kit, this is where your medication should be, any medical equipment that you consolidate together, extra batteries for medical equipment, medical supplies. I keep this always in my closet. I have like a go bag of medical supplies ready, and it works well when you're going to travel. You already have it ready to go. And then if you use any like blood pressure cuff or glucose meter or O2 monitor, you want to have those extras if you can. Your mobility aids, your eating and drinking aids. You know, I keep an extra pointer. I keep an extra cup, just already packed away. And then I have stuff for my service dog. So I have a copy of his license and tags. I have a photo of him. If we were to get separated, I want somebody to know what he looks like. I have his vet records, his med records, food and water for him, toys for him, blankets, and a first aid kit just for your pet or service animal. So, in conclusion, you want to make sure you make a plan, you build a kit, and you stay informed. Right down here, I have a link to a survey. It's always great if you do the survey. We know kind of how we're doing with these presentations, but also it'll give you an opportunity to leave your contact information. So that way I can have it and get in touch with you guys, and then you can get in touch with me. So if there are any questions, please, I can go ahead now. I will stay on and I can answer them through the chat later. Anything, any way you need it to be.
Thank you, Maria. That was such great information. Balin wanted to know, will your PowerPoint be available?
Yeah, I will coordinate with you guys and get it so you can share it.
Okay, that is wonderful. And let me see, Wanda says, Washington State emergency medications available from pharmacy, or if you have an empty vial, you know, but not for controlled substances. So Erica said she never thought about having a first aid kit nor a bag for her dog. That was awesome. And then you have a couple thank yous there too. So
Great.
yeah. So thank you again. And so if there's
Absolutely.
other, you said you would share when the webinars are open again for people to view.
Yes, I will. We don't have one scheduled just because I just wrapped up one. So, but we do them about every 2 months right now.
Okay, great. Great.
Yeah, I can let you know.
That's wonderful. And yeah, if you could just share the PowerPoint either with me or Kenny, yeah, we'll make sure people get it. But I know this is a Sunday and you did this very last minute. So thank you again.
No problem.
Yeah. That
Sure.
was very,
Thank
that was
you.
really helpful, especially nowadays.
No,
So,
Yeah.
all right.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Go ahead, Kenny.
Thank you both, Elaine and Maria. That was tremendously helpful. It's Claire's been writing down furiously all the notes we can possibly get because we weren't ready when the hill caught on fire near our house last week. So
Yeah.
really appreciate your time and yeah, all your expertise. And yeah, if anybody has any more questions, just go ahead and throw them in the chat for Maria, and we will jump to our next partner spotlight, which is going to be with the good folks from Bodypoint. I think we've got Natalie and Lori online. If we can unmute them and allow them to share.
Hi, everybody. I'm Natalie. I'm the marketing manager from Bodypoint, and I'm with Lori Lazat, who's our director of U.S. sales. We're very excited to be here. I'm sorry it's virtual, but at the same time, we get to reach all of you, so that part is good. We had a booth last year, and I hope we do so again. The more I get to know about this organization and the more of you I interact with, the more impressed I am with what you guys have put together. I really think it's a wonderful organization, and we're very proud to support it and be here. Lori's going to tell you a little bit about the company, and then I'll talk a little bit about some of our products.
Hello, everybody. Thank you again for being here. As Natalie said, we're really passionate about this organization and proud to be here and speak with you. Hi, Joe. I miss you. I haven't seen you in a while. I know we have a lot of friends here that are part of this group, so again, thank you. Most of you probably have heard of Bodypoint, and what you may not know is that we've been in business for 30 years. We were a primary manufacturer, one of the first manufacturers of postural supports, and are often thought of as the innovator of these quality products. We are in 40 countries, so we are a global company, but what's most important is we're a big part of this community, and we like to participate and support our partners in the Seattle and the Pacific Northwest area as much as we can. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Natalie, who will tell you a little bit about some of the things we do.
All right, and I am sharing my screen and get this going. Another little thing here. Okay, so this is our little booth at last year's Here and Now meetup. Next to me is Ben Ma. She's our product manager. And she is always open to hearing your ideas about new products that you would like to see. Our mission is to create excellent products to improve the lives of wheelchair users. So we need to know what you need that's going to improve your lives. And, you know, feedback on existing products or things that you would like to see us develop. Here's a quick, overview of our full product range, but there's lots of things. And I'm going to touch base on just a couple of them. I think the key point to know is that it's all individual solutions. There's a range of things for all different kinds of wheelchair users, and 2 different people might use the same product in very different ways. So it's just about figuring out what you need and what's going to really work for you. So this is Barry, who many of you know. There'll be lots of familiar faces in here. So he's a longtime friend of Bodypoint. Picture on the left is from 2013, and the picture on the right is just from this year in the spring. Actually, even in the times of COVID, he came in with this new chair. Barry wears the Bodypoint EvoFlex across his upper thighs, which he finds really helps him with his endurance and his efficiency in pushing. Like many active wheelchair users for a long time, as it says on the sign there, more than 20 years he was in his chair and he thought he did not need a hip belt. But when he really tried it, he found, oh my gosh, this like changed his life, and he loves it, and he's continued to wear this belt. And this is a really unique belt, kind of an example of what Bodypoint does is we really try to put a lot of thoughts into our products. It's got these stiffened end straps, so it pops up when it's open and stays upright, doesn't fall and dangle into the wheels. So it's more convenient than a lot of other hip belts. This is Wing. He's got a basic non-padded hip belt on, but it's got this special rehab latch that we developed for people with limited hand function. So it's both easier to open because it's easier to grasp, and it has a 2-stage release, so it doesn't come undone as easily as some other latch type buckles. He's also using the Bodypoint U-shaped joystick handle, which I see a lot. Josh, our keynote speaker from yesterday, also used that same joystick handle, I noticed. And sometimes these small things can make a big difference. You may not think about your joystick handle, but maybe changing to a different one that just fits your hand a little better or works better with just the level of function that you have can make a big difference in your ability to drive, in the comfort of your hand, being on that joystick many hours. And this is Todd, who I think all of you know, one of the founders and inspiration for this group. He's visiting us at our booth at the International CDM Symposium last year. So Todd uses a monoflex across his chest, which gives him stability there. And then he also uses our Trilock midline mounting system to hold up all his controls, because he does everything with his mouth. And so wrapped under that black stuff is this bar, and that's our midline product. On the right, you see it in a slightly different configuration for people that drive with their hands. And it's very flexible, but it helps put the joystick just where you need it, whether that's in your mouth or in front of your body. It's customized just for you. So the people that I've shown are wearing their products pretty much all day, but a lot of our products can also be helpful when you just need something temporary for certain types of situations. On the left is Andreas. He's a Paralympic rugby player from Sweden. And he uses our universal elastic strap just to give him a little extra support when he's playing with his daughter or doing other really active things. And on the right is Denise, who's a member of this group. This is on Ian's ride Mount Rainier trip last year where I met her. So she wears the Bodypoint quad belt across her chest, which is not how it was originally designed, but it turns out to be a really good solution. It's got this reinforced thumb loop that helps her control the belt. And again, that latch buckle that's easier for her to undo. And she just uses it when she needs a little bit of extra stability going up and down hills and over bumps on the trails and things like that. And then here we have Sean on the left, who just this winter tried out 2 Bodypoint Monoflex products, same thing that Todd wears across his chest, but here we have them being used in a sit ski, and he loved it because it helps him feel more tied into his ski and gives him a lot more control. And then on the right is Julie, and that's actually at last year's Here Now meetup, and she's wearing a universal elastic strap across her legs, and that gives her extra stability when she's fencing. And then here we have Alan, and he's actually one of our independent sales reps. And he uses a Bodypoint calf strap, which is a product that, you know, is a simple thing, but boy, do we hear raves about this product and how ours is so much better than everything else, because it's got stiffener fabric and some padding, and so it stays in place when you get in and out of the chair. You don't step all over it. And then here are Ian's feet. Ian, like many quads, wears our ankle huggers, which helps stabilize his feet in the chair. It's great if you have spasticity, but also just stabilizing the lower body really helps hold the rest of your body in a good position. And last but not least is Amin. This is actually out behind the Bodypoint offices right by Centerlink Field. Excuse me. Amin uses the EvoFlex, but also our Bodypoint mobility bag, which is one of our accessories that we have. And we're really looking to expand and do some other accessories, so let us know what you love. And this, like other products, was designed with input from wheelchair users. So again, we're really looking for that input and would love to work with you and hear from you about that. we try to use real users in all of our marketing materials. So there's Ian's on the cover of our current product guide, and on the right is Wyatt, who's one of our pediatric fans. He wears an EvoFlex on his little Tylite chair. We do have quite a number of products that are good for pediatrics as well. So I'm just going to turn it back to Lori in a second, but I just wanted to give you some basic contact information. Lori and I will put our individual contact in the chat, so you can feel free to reach out to us anytime you want. We would love to hear from you. Go ahead, Lori.
Okay, thank you, Natalie, for giving us that great overview of our product set. So most of you know that you can acquire Bodypoint products at any one of the dealers that we partner with, NSM or New Motion. Those are some of the bigger national ones, or Bellevue Healthcare or Olympic Pharmacy are other ones that are local that also carry our products. In addition, some of those products that you saw, particularly the ones like the elastic strap and mobility bag, those are available on Amazon. So you can actually go out to Amazon and get those products. And with your feedback, we hope to have more products out there that are easier for you to acquire and use to help your life. So keep those ideas coming, and we'd love to hear from you. Again, on behalf of Natalie and I want to thank you for having us participate. It's good to see all those names and your faces for those of you I can see. Maria, that was a great presentation, by the way. I really enjoyed it. It's good for me to do too, as well. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I was thinking,
Yeah.
I took some notes. That's
Yes.
great.
Yes, and thanks to all of you who let us share your pictures. We love you too. I appreciate all your little notes in the chat. Look forward to catching up with all of you in the future. Thanks again, Kenny.
Thanks, Kenny.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us and giving us that great overview. I wish we could say that wasn't fake hair on the cover of that product magazine, but I guess that's just the way our boy Ian looks. But real quick, we're going to jump into one more trivia question. But before that, I wanted to pull up the poll one more time. Yesterday we did a poll with just looking to get people's information as far as your level of injury and how long you've been injured and your diagnosis. So if you guys just take a second and fill that out again. Yesterday when we got our answers, it was because we've got kind of ranges on there, but at the least we had about 475 years of paralysis experience on one Zoom call, ranging from C1 all the way down to L5, which is pretty amazing when you think about 500 years almost. That's the power of this fellowship, that when you bring people together, you are kind of compounding your collective recovery. You don't have to reinvent the wheel yourself. And then I think there was one more, if we can, I think we got the levels of injury, and then we can pull up the length of injury, or how long people have been injured. There it is. And we'll be able to compile those hopefully by the end of today, and we can announce how many years of experience we've got on this call too. And and with that, I'm gonna launch it over to our board member, Joe Preddy, who can introduce himself and give us the next trivia question. Remember, you guys can use the Google box for these trivia questions. That's, there are no secrets. Are you with us, Joe?
I'm here, Kenny. Thanks very much for the introduction. And I just have to take a second. It's great to see you, Lori. And Bodypoint has been so instrumental in enriching my life. I have to tell you, I play piano. I'm a T2. And when I try to put my hands out, I would fall forward. And Lori came out to my house several times, and along with my physical therapist, developed a system that now I can sit at the piano again and play. And that is just an amazing thing for me. And she also sent me a belt that, with my contractor, when I did my bathroom remodel, I was able to use a D-ring and mount it to the wall and use this incredible strap for my fold-down bench seat in my shower. And I've fallen off my shower bench seat at least a half a dozen times, and that is no longer an issue, and my wife feels much more comfortable and relaxed now she doesn't have to worry about me getting all lathered up and falling off the seat.
Oh,
So thanks, Lori, and thanks, Bodypoint. You guys are great and amazing. As Kenny said, I'm one of the board members. I was injured. It's coming up here very quickly, October 2nd in 2010. So I'm hitting the 10-year mark here of still being here and still alive. So I'm grateful for that. I met Kenny. It was funny because a mutual friend kept trying to hook Kenny and I up, and it just didn't happen until I met him at a Here and Now project. So it's Kenny's an amazing person. The whole formulation of the Here and Now project, along with Ian, has just been another lifesaver for me. So now to what you've all been waiting for, the trivia question. And Addie, if you're here after I ask the question, I'm going to need that Jeopardy music. Okay, according to www.nature.com, what is the most common sports-related spinal cord injury? Again, what is the most common sports-related spinal cord injury? See, bicycle, rugby, nope, neither one of those. Diving, no.
Skiing.
I will give you all, there it is, right there, Eric, swimming. It's swimming. Congratulations, Erica.
Oh my goodness.
Diving was close.
Yep. Wow. Well, awesome. Well, thank you, Joe and Pauline, for peeking in.
And that's a $10 Starbucks card to the winner.
All right, $10 going to Erica. That's awesome. Well, perfect, guys. We've, we're right around 1 o'clock, and we're gonna take a little 10-minute break to let you guys use the restroom. We cut yesterday into 5, and we got feedback that you guys want a little bit more time. So we're gonna come back at 1:13, and then we're gonna kick off the rest of the programming. So you guys go ahead and take a break, and we'll see you guys in a minute. So it looks like we're at 1:13, a nice round number for us to move on with our schedule. We've got another partner spotlight, which is a pre-recorded video from Ram Mounts, which is a pretty fantastic organization that we have our board member Ian Mackay to thank for. I think it was out on his ride across Washington State from Coeur d'Alene to Port Angeles that the Ram Mount rep basically passed him on the road and said, "Hey, we need to outfit your chair with some phone mounts." And so we'll have Rob bring up Rick Phillips, who is possibly having his own first child right now. I think they were due today, and so we'll play a quick video from him. And
hi everyone, this is Rick Phillips with Ram Mounts. I'm sorry I couldn't join you for the live event, but Kenny was nice enough to offer to let us have a pre-recorded video to share with you guys so we can go over all the different Ram mounting systems that we have to offer. So essentially Ram mounts are rugged, adjustable, and modular mounting systems that really let you connect anything, anywhere. So when it comes to wheelchair track mounting, the most common application would be going to the armrest track system of a wheelchair. So what we've built out is a custom ball base, as you can see here, that has a diamond plate. And then this one kit comes with a variety of different track mounting hardware. So you have this size of T-nuts, and then you also have these smaller T-nuts to accommodate the different types of tracks. And the pack also comes with a set of screws and nuts for certain armrests out there that maybe don't have track systems, but instead just have slotted holes. A great example of this is Invacare, where instead you would pull the foam padding from the armrest and there are slotted holes that you can expose there, and then you could attach onto that type of armrest system. So imagine the end of the armrest is about here. You have this mounted underneath, and then you have a long double socket arm that would then go to your device holder. So with this completed, you'd have your armrest track there for a nice, convenient position for you. Now, some people might need the device a little bit higher, maybe perhaps even eye level, in which case you can take away that long arm and instead drop in this pipe adapter with these components. And by doing that, tighten this down. And now we have another ball up here, so you can connect even another double socket arm. And then you can put that same device holder right up here, tighten the arm down. And now you can see we have a much higher profile application. So you're going from armrest to phone and still eye level. There's also the option to mount onto the seat track system. So what we're looking at here is a larger, what we call a C-size ball, and then you would connect this longer socket arm system here. So if I tighten down this knob, and now this goes to this heavy duty pipe system. This is about a 9-inch pipe with a few more inches, give or take, on each side. And then up top here, we have a C-size ball that then downgrades back down to the B-size 1-inch ball. Now you can take that exact same ball, drop it into the socket there, tighten down on the arm, and now you have a seat track variation. So now we will cut over to some of the popular devices that you can mount. So we've been showing phone this whole time, but there are many other device options that you can have for mounting. First one we'll take a look at here are these 2 plate adapters that are best for connecting buttons and switches. But really you can just take any household adhesive and just connect the buttons and switches. And by using our interchangeable components, you can position your button and switch practically anywhere on your chair, so you can get the best form factor for your chair setup. Next, we'll look at some of these phone options. So the one we were looking at in the other examples was the Ram X-Grip phone holder. So it's a nice spring-loaded holder that comes in 2 different sizes to accommodate different sizes of phones out there, and it works great for any phone with or without a case or sleeve. And then another option is the Ram Quick Grip option here. This is a spring-loaded, high-strength composite holder with side arms that you can position on slotted holes to account for all the different sizes of phones out there as well. And our latest and greatest phone holder is our series of wireless chargers. So we make 2 different styles of wireless charging phone holders. The one we're looking at here is the Ram X-Grip style. So this is tough charge with X-Grip technology. This has a pigtail cable that goes to a USB Type A male connector that plugs into your power source with a button switch that activates the charging functionality. And then you have an LED light on the side that either will flash green or red, indicating if your device is charging. Lastly, we'll look at some of our tablet options. So this is another type of a Ram X-Grip, but it's intended for 9 or 10-inch tablets. You have these handles on the bottom here that you squeeze to open the arms up, and you can put your tablet inside. We also have a slightly larger version that will account up to 12-inch tablets, so this is perfect for holding something like a Microsoft Surface. And then this other tablet holder we have is called the Ram Tab Tight. This is a spring-loaded, high-strength composite holder, kind of similar to the Quick Grip, just larger for tablets. And you have a wide range of these interchangeable end cups on the bottom and the top for supporting different sizes of tablets out there, different thicknesses, case or no case. And so this is a wide range of universal tablet mounting. So we've been going over many options. There are a lot of different device holders out there that we offer, more than just what we're looking at here. It might be a little overwhelming, but on our website, rammount.com, we have a holder section. You can insert, or you can input the specific make and model of your device, and our website will generate the exact holder that you want. So if there is anything special that may not have been covered here, might need a certain type of component, there's a very good chance that we do have it readily available. It's just a matter of figuring out what you need exactly, but feel free to reach out to me directly, or you can contact Kenny, and Kenny can work with me. We're always loving new challenges to come up with new types of solutions, because we're really in the business of problem solving in that sense. So we do really love coming up with new solutions if possible. And I think that about covers what we have here today. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and joining. And again, I'm sorry I could not join the live event, but I hope to hear from you soon.
Here's a good question from Erica Myron. Yes, you can use these products in vehicles. Actually, that's pretty sure that's what Rammount started with, was a kind of automotive solutions. They make a lot of tablet and computer mounts for tactical use for the police and military and stuff. So yes, and you'll have to stay tuned. At the end of the day, we're going to be giving away kind of a wheelchair overhaul of your choice of brand mounts. So they're going to be outfitting one winner with that stuff. And speaking of giveaways, we've also got one of those mobility bags from Bodypoint and a universal elastic strap that we're gonna give away as well. And so yeah, we're running a little bit behind on time, but now we've got another video that we put together for our next segment, which is home modification. And that was a very needed topic for me and Claire in the last calendar year, as we went through a remodel of our own at our home, which we moved into this place about 8 years ago. And it would be helpful if you guys can see me. We moved into this place about 8 years ago, and I slowly did, minor modifications. I got a ramp in from the garage, and that was pretty much all I needed. And so, I kind of made do with little modifications. And so we took to a lot of the membership to put together this video of all of a handful of our members and all the different home modifications that they've done. So let me pull that one up really quick.
Hey everybody, my name is Joe and I'm a board member of the Here and Now project, and I want to share with you my accessible bathroom that I had done when we moved. I'll start with the roll-in shower here. It's nice and spacious. It's got a padded drop-down shower seat that I use, along with a safety strap that is mounted to the wall with a D-ring. It's got 2 shower heads. The lower one is for my use. The higher one is for my wife's use, and it has a grab bar there too that I can use when repositioning myself on this seat. If we come over now to the commode setup, we have the wall-mounted toilet that makes cleanup underneath very easy. I also use this thing called a squatty potty, which raises my feet up and is supposed to make it more anatomically correct when going to the bathroom. We also had a 3rd shower head installed, which makes cleaning up very quick and sanitary. We can use it to clean out the toilet bowl, we can use it to clean the floor, and as you can see, the drain, the silver metal portion, runs the entire length of the shower. The final thing is the sink area, and probably many of you have this set up. It allows me to get under very quickly, easily, not touching my skin or legs to anything. Can reach all the things I need. And again, this is probably the first time I've had a bathroom that really meets my needs. Thanks.
So we've got a 36-inch wide doorway coming into the bathroom, which helps. The toilet, we've rigged up a pull cord to flush the toilet because it's on the far side and it's hard to reach. So that's a cheap little hack. The shower was put in with grab bars placed in convenient locations so you can lean right or left. There is a small ramp installed to get over the lip. A extra cabinet provided for supplies and setup. And I have a dual sink setup that is open underneath each sink with the plumbing all tucked in behind the wall, so there's nothing to get hung up on. Works very well.
Our bathroom is really narrow, so we did a couple of modifications to make it work a little bit better. The first one we did was we removed all the knobs from the vanity cabinets and replaced them with just some parachute cord. Real easy to tie on there, just put a knot on the back side and fed them through the holes that were already there from the existing hardware. We also replaced the door hinges with offset door hinges that moved the door out of the way a bit to make just a little bit more space in the door frame.
Hey Hi everyone, so this is the Pants Up Easy. I actually was a little resistant to getting it because I wanted to try to do stuff without as many adaptations as possible because I'm silly. Anyway, it works really easy. Pants Up Easy. So you pull the little arms in like this, put your arms over that, kind of push in, and it lifts you up just enough to get your butt up off the seat where you can pull your pants down, if I can find my pants, pretty easily. Lightly lift your arms off the little pad so you don't come crashing down onto the seat. Do your business. When you're done, oh yeah, don't forget to wipe. Again, pull the little arms in, push the pads in against your sides, make sure your pants are up far enough where you can grab them, otherwise you'll have to do it again. And then just gently pull the pants up. Again, lightly pull your arms away from the pads, push them away when you're done, and then do your transfer back to your chair. This is a wall-mounted model. They also have freestanding models if you have more room in your bathroom or if that works better for you.
One of the bigger things we did was we removed the cabinet from underneath the sink. Once we removed the cabinet, however, we discovered there was no flooring under the cabinet. Luckily, we were able to find some flooring that matched the existing flooring and splice it in nicely. We also added this accordion-style makeup mirror above the stove. It easily adjusts so you can see inside pots and pans, but also collapses out of the way. We also added a set of lower controls for the range hood. Most newer hoods that have touch controls also have the option for remote control. The nice thing about the remote control is that it's more than just off and on. It also allows for the high and low settings for the light and the fan. It also doesn't lock out the controls on the hood either. They still work. They sell a kit that has a couple of switches and some wire that hooks up to a little connector on the board in the hood. And if for some reason we forgot to turn on the fan, we also came up with a solution for silencing the smoke detector when cooking that doesn't involve bashing it with a broom. We updated all the smoke detectors in the house to ones that communicate wirelessly. We also bought an extra smoke detector that we keep handy in the kitchen. That way we can hit the silence button on the handy smoke detector and all of the smoke detectors in the house will silence a second or two later.
Hi, I'm Greg Jacobs. I broke my neck at C5 back in 1982 when I had a little disagreement with gravity up at Crystal Mountain. We built this house and moved in 2007, anticipating that I would need some assistive devices as I aged. So I'm going to show you my ceiling track lift. It's down here in the bedroom. I call it the Bed, Bath, and Beyond lift. We have these nice concrete floors, but once I get in the bedroom, I'm on carpet again. This is the lift system. This is a Sure Hands sort of body clamp deal. All right, so now I have to get the body clamp of the Sure Hands lift, the brackets under my legs, and then the clamp around my torso here, and I'm ready to lift. Move that strap a little bit. It's always good to have a backup plan. When I fell one time, the lift got me back up. So here I go, up. It's going to squish me a bit so I won't be able to speak as well. It's an infrared remote. You have to hold the button continuously. All right, now I'm headed toward the bathroom. The lift was put in this vaulted ceiling with these extension rods, sort of a monorail setup. And then we go to a flat ceiling over here. You have to miss the ceiling fan and the flue from the fireplace, as well as the light fixtures. So here's the flat ceiling. And in the bathroom, you have to miss you can't have a header at the door because it would not fit through. So my shower room here, got the drain in the floor, and I set it up so I have an endless pool just beyond the bathroom. Normally we have a piece of plexiglass in the way. And let me down into the pool. Can't really feel the temperature, but it's warm enough. It's easy to get into the pool. It's really hard to get out without this lift.
Hi, I'm Denise, and we live in a 2-story house. And when we first got this house, we purchased an elevator, and we have 3 floors. This is in the garage, and this is me getting into my elevator.
What kind of elevator is it?
Oh, it's a wheelevator by Destiny. So Candy has to open the door, and she holds the shutters open for me as I come out. And keep holding it, Candy. One thing I want to say about this is a great elevator, but one thing I want to say is if you're thinking about purchasing an elevator, I wish I would have gotten the feature where if I could, for a little more independence, if I could press a button in there, it would open and shut these shutters on their own. So that means that would enable me to go up and down the elevator by myself. But now the way it is, I have to have a caregiver or someone come up and down with me. Okay, I'm gonna go upstairs now. Come on out onto the 3rd floor. And now I'm upstairs and have access to all the rooms up here.
Recording.
You gotta turn it on.
Oh, look, it's a step.
Hi, my name is Ian Mackay, and I am a C2 complete quadriplegic. I was fortunate enough to design and build a bedroom around my needs. There was a lot to consider during the planning stages, but I mainly focused on 3 areas: ease of access, safety and computer use in bed, and of course, aesthetics. Let me tell you a little about what I did. Let's start with ease of access. I wanted a doorway that was easy to navigate, a flooring surface that was smooth and resistant to water from the shower chair. I needed a lift system that was functional and somewhat attractive, floor space to allow room for a shower chair and my power wheelchair. My bed had to elevate to promote good posture and back health for my employees. I needed a closet that was wide open and easy to view when lying in bed. And it was crucial to have lights, shades, thermostats, and fans that were all controlled by voice. Next, let's cover computer access and safety. It's vital to me to have use of my computer while I'm in bed. A pressure sore can quickly keep us down for long periods of time, and I want to maintain productivity if that happens. I utilize a swinging arm that holds my monitor and mouse. This way I can save valuable floor space. I have a headset and microphone, which is useful in not disturbing your partner. When I'm alone, I make sure and have redundancies to reach out for assistance. I use software like Skype or Messenger to call for help. I have my voice-controlled phone mounted above my computer in case the Wi-Fi goes out. And if both of these fail, I have an intercom system that works off batteries and will travel well over 100 yards to a neighboring house. I also have a complete battery bank under the floor that will power the bedroom for several days if needed. Also, because I'm a high risk for pressure sores, I also have lots of lighting installed to inspect my skin. And finally, aesthetics. You want to feel good in your bedroom, and it should represent yourself. I wanted lots of natural light, avian photography to show my love of birds, and a lot of science posters covering my ceiling. I wanted neutral, calming colors and a bed big enough to accommodate a partner. I used a projection clock so I can see the time on the ceiling, and installed elevated remote control holders so I always know where things are. But the most important thing about your bedroom is it must feel comfortable to you. Anyway, that's my room. Hope you have a great day, and thanks for listening.
This is Todd here in our home, and I've been asked to just share a little bit about HomeKit and the various functions that we use. We've had HomeKit now in our home for, 4 years or so, and it's been a great asset for us in our ecosystem here. There's several different to choose from, Amazon, Google, etc. They all have their pros and cons, but for us, HomeKit has really been the best for us. Mainly, I would say, for continuity between iPhones, iPads, and in the last couple of years, the Mac computer. So you could literally control them from anything, whether it's through your voice, through switch control, through voice control, or through mouse, using your computer. I'm in my office right now, and I'm just going to open my office shade for you via my voice. Open Siri, open Todd's office shade.
Okay, the shade is opening.
You can see the shade's opening. I used my voice to do that, and I used, I didn't say HS, I said OS, and that is because I have a HomePod in here, and various phones like my wife, and depending on how you say it, right, other devices will pick up. So now I'll go and open up my garage door as well as my wife's garage door. I'll do that as independent actions. Open Siri, open Todd's garage door.
Opening the Todd's garage door.
Open Siri, open Karen's garage door.
Opening the Karen's garage door.
I use those through a fantastic app in addition to HomeKit called the iSmartGate. And the HomeKit website on apples.com, what a great site for all the various accessories and manufacturers who are continuing, more and more every year, getting more compatible with all the ecosystems out there, but again, for HomeKit. As you can see, we got notifications as well that the various doors have opened and whatnot. So I can either use my voice to close these doors, or I could use the app. I figured I would use the app this time. Using switch control, I'm in the Quadrigal app, which is sort of the main screen of HomeKit. I'm going to go down to Rooms, and I could set these up as accessories or scenes, things of that nature, but I thought I would just be a little bit more specific and go to the actual room. I'm going to go to the garage, swipe up. At that point, I was using voice control to open up the garage. Now I'm going to show numbers. 6. Now I could have scrolled down with voice, or I could have used switch control, but again, just trying to demonstrate the various flexibilities of HomeKit. So now I'm just using switch control to close the doors. As you can see, they're closing. They're giving notification for that. You're seeing it visually as well. Open Siri, Todd's office shade, 50%.
Okay, I set the shade to 50%.
All right, set the shade back to 50%. And there you go. That's just a small demonstration of sort of what we use and what we like. There you go.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody that contributed their videos to this little vignette, and this is barely just scratching the surface of what each of our members are doing to modify their world. And, as you can see from the small hacks with paracord, like Zane and Becky were using, all the way to the full home remodel that Ian was doing, or I guess his was a custom build. And same as Todd, it kind of shows that there's a spectrum when you're trying to kind of redesign your world for accessibility. For me, kind of like Zane and Becky, all I needed when I first came into this house was a couple of those offset hinges, or they're also called swing clear hinges. And they just give you a little bit of extra room so you can roll through the door. And that was all I needed for quite some time, but then I started running into the doorways because they were a little narrow and I was a little lazy, and it became time for us to do the full-scale remodel. And it was really helpful to see other members and other friends and see how they modified their world. I went and looked at Todd's shower and how Todd used all of his different HomeKit devices to control his home, same as Ian. And and that is kind of the magic of this fellowship of individuals that are affected by paralysis, is that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can ask somebody and take a look at what they've got and learn from them. And to answer the questions that were online, we will be putting this on the YouTube channel as well as on an expo page that we're going to be creating after the event, so people can come look at all the different sponsor highlights and all the videos that we've done over the last couple of days. And so right now I think what we're going to do is we're going to take another picture. If people want to fire their cameras on real quick, we're going to try to snap another shot of all your beautiful faces. I've got my massive screen. There we go.
This time we'll wait until we say ready, set, smile.
There you go. We'll try not to scare Erica this time.
Okay, it looks like everyone's...
Your hair looks great, Meg.
Okay, here we go. So I'm doing the first page. 1, 2, 3.
All right.
And then we need to
Here's
copy
page
and
2.
paste that into Paint real quick,
Yeah,
guys.
Control B.
Okay. Now I'm doing screen numero dos. We've got some blank screens, but that's okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Perfect. Well, and with that, let me pull up my handy dandy schedule to make sure I'm on point, because I think we have one more sponsored check-in real quick with our good friend Mike Corsini from Validus Consulting. Mike, are you online? Are you able to share your screen or your video just to give us a quick 5-minute highlight of what you guys are up to?
Yeah, hi, this is Mike Corsini, and it's easier just to talk 5 minutes than it is to develop a video or something. But I just want to do, I really loved that presentation just before this. And we are part of that process. There's a lot of people who wish they could have the kinds of things that we've observed. And the truth of the matter is, if you aim at nothing, you're bound to hit it. And I didn't know what that meant when I was in high school. I only learned that after I got disabled. Another saying was, if you don't know where you're going, you probably end up somewhere else. And not that I know that's why Validus Consulting exists. Who is Validus Consulting? To my amazement, we're a social service agency. We started in 2007. I basically started it by hitting up DSHS saying, I'd like to help some of your clients. And they said, okay. And I got a contract and I started working. I had 4 clients, and now I have nearly 200 clients. I started in 1 county, and we're in all 20 counties in Western Washington, 8 in Eastern. And it's a lot to handle, but there's a big need. Our mission is to empower individuals with disabilities to live their full potential. And basically, it is what it says. Individuals with disabilities have challenges and barriers that others folks do not. And so when I was injured in 1978, prior to the ADA, it was a little bit rough, rougher than it is now, but it's still far too difficult for individuals with disabilities to advance ourselves in pursuing our dreams, hopes, and desires, let alone achieving them. So what do we do? Right now, what Validus Consulting Services do, what we do, is we work with folks who are in institutions, such as hospitals and skilled nursing facilities who want to get out and cannot. We empower them to get out. We work through DSHS to do that. We have other folks who are living, clients who are living in community whose circumstances become unstable. And so our job is to go in there and help stabilize, whether it be challenges with rent, with plumbing, with roofing, with challenges with caregivers. If you know any hoarders, we get called in and we help folks to stabilize their circumstances in the community so they don't end up becoming institutionalized, if you will. We help with housing, if someone's looking for housing. And these are folks primarily who are on services through DSHS. If you want housing and you need a place to stay, whether it be an apartment, adult family home, assisted living, that's what we do. We assist folks find appropriate housing. Employment, very similar. If you're looking for employment and you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do, we get people who are referred to us all the time. We work with veterans through Wounded Warrior Project. We help them with many of these services. What we want to take a minute to focus on is a service that we provide called client training. We do that privately. We do that through DSHS. Basically, it's this. Individuals become disabled. We're not exactly sure how to move forward in the process of becoming reintegrated or starting our life over again or picking up where we left off. So where we have expertise, if you will, excuse me, is in helping folks who have a desire, an interest in advancing their lives in any way but don't know how, or they do know how, they just don't know, maybe there's some connections they're missing. We do independent living evaluations. What do you want to do with your life? We then focus on how to turn what you want to do with your life with the circumstances that you're in to a plan with goals and with steps to reach those goals. That's what we do in a nutshell. We're highly successful in what we do. Don't ask me, ask people who utilize our services. If you want more information about us, I think you can call us at 253-847-7887, and we will be happy to talk to you more about what we do and how what we do can benefit you and making your life more independent in achieving your fullest potential. My time is up, and I thank you very much. Thank you for this great event.
Awesome, Mike. Thank you so much for filling us in, man. You guys have done great work, and you pull in a lot of people within the community to help them out, and also making some of your employees. I know Claire's worked for you for a bit, and Marty Whitman, and a whole bunch of people. So it's it's like the triple bottom line. You are making a difference in the community on all sorts of levels. So we really appreciate your support.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, and now with that, we've got one more brief trivia question and a giveaway. And somebody that one of our board members that is probably closer to my heart than anyone I know because she birthed me, and that is my mother, Jeannie Salvini. So I will hand it over to her to let her do a quick introduction and her trivia question.
Hi there, everybody. Yeah, I am Kenny's mom, and I have been on the board now for a little over a year, but I've been involved in the Here and Now since it started. I've enjoyed meeting everybody, and especially talking to the newly injured families, sometimes in the middle of the night, but giving support wherever I can. So the next question here is, what does DACWA stand for? And that's spelled DAC-WA. So first one to answer correctly gets a Subway gift card.
Man, I should really have had that Jeopardy stuff going the whole time.
I know, right?
No, you don't want to hear that, I don't think.
Sorry about my voice, allergies and smoke.
Yeah. All right, anybody finding it?
Anybody finding it?
They are the awesome committee that has given us incredible topical forums over the last year. And we have, we've got another one coming up in November on wheelchair maintenance. So people still, council. It's close. That is close, Greg. It is close. Greg's got Disabilities Advisory Council of Washington, which is so close. Has anybody got any other answers? We'll give it another 15 seconds. If no one else has something, we may have to concede to Mr. Jacobs. Looks like he's typing furiously right now. No, it's not a committee. It's even close. It's close. You know what? I think we should just give it to him. Yeah. It's close enough. So it's the Disabilities Advisory Coalition of Washington. So there you go. Oh, Marcia got it, but I think we're going to give it to Greg just for the furious typing anyways. So, all right. Well, and then we got the results of the 2 polls. We topped yesterday's experience count. It looks like we had 537 years of experience on this so far, and this is where we get to put half a millennium of experience to use, and we're going to switch over to the breakouts, and we're going to break out into male wheelchair users and female wheelchair users, and then the families are going to have their own breakout as well. And so we're going to be 45 minutes where we'll just get to chat and connect a little bit more, and then we will have you guys stick around, and we'll do a bunch of giveaways of swag and some more gift cards and other stuff. So if you want to, we can jump over. Natalie, thank you so much for joining us from Bodypoint. Lori as well. We really appreciate your guys' support. Looks like we got most of the people jumping back in. Well, we made it. Claire's water hasn't broken. Whoa, whoa, victory! I just really want to thank everybody again who put this thing together with us on short notice, and hopefully, we will be back in person for the next meetup, but if not, we're going to be online and making our presence known and making connections as best we can.